What's going on today, guys? Massive Hater here, and welcome back to another episode of Plugin Police. Today we'll be reviewing HMD's Rosetta EQ. To give you full disclosure, Help Me Devin helped me out with a free copy of this plugin in order to do this review. It will not affect my opinions in any way though, as you could see in the past. Okay, so the Rosetta EQ was designed to translate your sonic... I'm just going to read what they have on their website here. The HMD Rosetta EQ is designed to translate your sonic desires into actionable language. Instead of using the traditional hertz, we use words. Words actually correlate with the frequencies we manipulate on traditional EQs. God, why can't I read right now? There are no meters or units of dB on Rosetta because we want you to use your ears and not your eyes. HMD Rosetta can help guide you in learning how to use EQs as well as break bad habits that we're developing from analyzers. This EQ will speed up your workflow and show you the way. This plugin uses iLok. Boo. Plugin formats supported include AAX, VST3, and AU. System requirements: I hope your computer is able to run this. It doesn't support Windows 8 though, that's one thing worth mentioning. And you need at least a 10.12 Mac OS. So basically it has a few different knobs here, and you move them. It has additive and subtractive modes. Pretty simple plugin, and it is $49. Alright, I'm gonna show you guys how Rosetta EQ works really quickly here. So I got this song here. Let's listen to that real quickly. Okay, so that could use a little bit of work in my opinion. Haven't really done any EQ or anything to it, so I'm just gonna be EQing the melody and the bass to show you guys how this works. Okay, so let's hear the melody section before and after. I didn't do anything too drastic there with it. Obviously, we could do something more drastic if we wanted to. That's just how I would use it though. And then we'll do a little bit of EQ on the bass. Then on. I write some rap tracks too, as you guys might know. So I did the vocals on this one. You know, it's kind of just a demo recording, not the best recording in the world. Just trying to find something real quick to work on. No worldly possessions, they last in a lifetime. Obsession and depression, I'm obsessed with my profession. No worldly possessions, they last in a lifetime. Obsession and depression, I'm obsessed with my profession. I feel like it's a little more obvious on vocals. I think you're gonna need to do a little bit more EQ with vocals than with, like, you know, that chord sound I showed you earlier. So the UI is pretty stylish and clean. I like the way it animates, not in the Unison Audio way, in a normal way. It's a somewhat simple EQ that could be useful for beginners in their process of learning and still wanting to get a good mix, as well as professionals looking to speed up their workflow. This could also be seen as a bad thing as well too, depending on who you are. One thing I really like about it is the majority of the knobs do not just boost or subtract from a single frequency. It's a combination of frequencies that are in the range of the descriptive word. So it's not just a renamed EQ, they've combined some of the frequencies together. For instance, the byte knob boosts your sound sources in 3 ranges: 811 Hz to a maximum of 6 dB, 1795 Hz with a maximum of 2 dB, and 5598 Hz with a maximum of 12 dB. If you're curious what the frequencies are for each knob, you can check them in the manual. Yes, we actually read the manual in this channel, guys. Believe it or not, some review channels do read the manual. I don't like being wrong, that's why. I do applaud them for having a manual, as well as taking the time to say what everything does in here, because if you're a professional, you like to know what your plugins do. So a plugin that doesn't tell you what it does through the plugin, you'd like to have a way to find out. Why am I having such a hard time speaking? I shouldn't have drank those 20 bottles of Jack Daniels. I shouldn't have drank those 20 cups of coffee. One of the biggest positives of this plugin is that it's not an Unison Audio EQ. No, but in my opinion, one of the biggest positives is the speed of the workflow. This is definitely a lot quicker to work with than a normal EQ plugin, even for a seasoned pro. And it's just by the virtue of its less knobs to turn. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to some of the problems here in a minute, guys, okay? Because I know there's some of you guys in the comments that are just like, where are all the problems at? This is bullshit. This guy's a shill. He gets one free copy of a plugin and he's just out here shilling. Don't trust me, I have some problems with this too. We're gonna get to it in a minute. So the ability to undo and redo is useful. I feel like someone may have watched my Kyle Beats Sandbox review. Glad to hear someone has actually watched my videos and taken away some form of knowledge from it. One of the reasons I think it's important to have an undo and redo function is not every DAW has one built into the VST, so you should just include one just in case, to be safe. The ability to resize the plugin is great as well too, especially since the plugin was pretty small on my screen when I first opened it. I wonder if Devin also got this from my Sandbox review. Okay, now the things that everyone's looking for. their critiques, and I got quite a few, sadly. Okay, my first critique here is going to get pretty nerdy, so get on your glasses and your pocket protector. I don't have a pocket or a pocket protector, but I do have glasses. Okay, so EQ is based on frequency, which is based on pitch, therefore EQ is pitch based. And therefore, there are frequencies that are better to EQ than other frequencies depending on the source material. The inability to be able to change the frequencies that are being manipulated is a fault of this plugin, because technically you can EQ in key, and with this plugin you're always going to be EQing to the same key. Does it make a big difference? It's hard to say. I do like to EQ harmonically though. So for some people this may be a big problem, for some other people this might not be a problem at all. I'm about in the middle with it. I'll just listen to the plugin when I'm using it and figure out if I like the way it sounds. So in this case, sometimes this plugin may work well for me and sometimes it might not. My suggestion for this plugin is, it's a little bit of a complex suggestion here, but it'd be nice if you could change the frequency or the pitch that the EQ would be tuning to. Maybe like be able to pick a note to have all the frequencies set to, let's say A, and then have all the knobs shift for their base frequency that they'll be manipulating to something related to that frequency. So in the case of A, that'd be 110 Hertz, 220 Hertz, 440 Hertz, 880, so forth. Now having your EQs be harmonic is something you probably would want maybe 90% or more often in mixing, in my opinion. And the other 10% would be like when you're fixing resonances or room tones, stuff like that. But it would help make this EQ better, in my opinion. I feel like actually all of these critiques are going to get pretty nerdy, so I'm sorry. Now I get that you didn't add frequency or the decibel gain on purpose, but mouse over tooltips or mouse over frequency / gain tooltips would also be really useful, just for the people that do want to know. Just because you like the idea that this EQ may force people to use their ears more, not everyone wants to work that way completely all the time. Some people may want to know what they are actually adjusting. I am one of those people. Thankfully, it says what they are in the manual, so you can go in and check that, but having to always have the manual open while working with a plugin like this doesn't make a lot of sense. Another reason I feel like having the tooltips would be really useful is I wasn't able to gauge what the enhance function does until I watched a video and read the manual. Those are the only two ways I was able to find out what the enhance feature does. It boosts 6 frequencies that Devin finds to be really good sounding. I'm guessing just a little bit, maybe have like a pro mode or something where it enables some of these things that you might want to see visually. Maybe I'm asking for a bit much. I don't really think so. At the very least, it'd be nice if this plugin had an auto gain compensation. That'd be one of the reasons why I'd prefer to use FabFilter over this, just because when I'm EQing something, I like to have it auto gain compensate just to make sure I'm at the same level I was before. Having to manually do that every single time, not really the move in my opinion. So Devin, help me auto gain compensate. So a problem I could foresee while using this plugin to mix, spoiler alert, sometimes I mix and master people's plugins. Wait, what? Spoiler alert, sometimes I mix and master people's songs while I'm not doing YouTube or making my own music. And sometimes the people who I mix for are also experienced mixers just looking for someone else to mix their track. And they'll give me specific notes like, hey, can you minus it 2 decibels at 400 Hertz? Now, effectively, this won't be the last EQ I ever need because I wouldn't be able to do that in this plugin. The only way to accurately do that in this plugin would be to read the manual and know what each knob adjusts. So it would effectively make me need to go back to using another EQ for that one specific instance. Some other things I noted but are not a big deal at all. There's no linear phase function and no dynamic or sidechain EQ, which are all fine. I don't think you really want that in here, but it's just worth noting for anyone considering buying this plugin. And since there's no free trial, they're going to need a review like this to know these sort of things. Okay, glasses off. Nerd shit is over. So my conclusion here today, I think this is not a bad idea at all. I do think the execution could be brought up a few levels though. Maybe I just view EQ a bit differently. I like having the extra options. Do I think this plugin will make or break a mix though? No, not really. It may help beginners a bit. It may frustrate professionals or speed up their workflow a bit depending on the circumstance. If you were to only use this plugin for your EQs, it could affect some things here and there. The main one I could foresee is if you were EQing a return track, you would definitely want to use something linear phase there. If you use this plugin, it's going to throw off the phase, which could be an issue if you're doing something like super saws. There's quite a few sounds where it becomes really obvious if you throw off the phase on a return track, but in general, you want linear phase when you're EQing a return track. Another reason I'm not really sure about this EQ is the fact that you can't adjust the frequencies based on the key that you're in. I like to do harmonic mixing, so having a fixed frequency for every single knob in an EQ is not really my favorite thing. Also, I think it could have a few more features for the price tag of $50. Like I said, a pro mode or something like that. Maybe the ability to adjust frequencies based on the key you want to tune to. I would definitely up the score a bit if those features were added. Also, there isn't a free trial, which I've feel like is a bummer for anyone considering whether or not they should get this plugin. So I would give this plugin roughly a 6 out of a 10 for a beginner, and either a 5 or 4 for a professional. It really depends on the way you look at it and what features are crucial for you and what you're trying to get out of this plugin, I guess. It's really hard to give it an accurate rating because it's definitely different depending on the skill level you're at and what you're looking for in a plugin like this. Let me know down in the comments. Do you guys think this is an accurate score? What do you think of this plugin? Would you use it? Have you used it? What should I review next? I'm your host, Help Me Weaver. Make sure to check me out on Discord, my second channel, or my social medias. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bang Incorporated.